Another Spillage Studios video, and we're back for, I guess you could say it's season 2 of Spillage Studios videos, and we got a lot to cover. So we didn't really do anything over Halloween. Mostly a lot of the topics are already covered, such as like Halloween films. We could have done Scream films, but we decided to take a little hiatus and come back for the Christmas season, make some Christmas videos, Christmas horror, just horror content in general. And so there's a lot of films and shows now that we can cover. And I wanted to start off with a quick review series of the Creep Tapes. So the Creep Tapes is the newest Shudder original show, and kind of a little background. So it's Patrick Brice and Mark Duplass. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but they came out in 2014 with a little movie called Creep. Now, for those that don't know Creep, it's pretty much Mark Duplass plays kind of this creepy serial killer, and they kind of ran with it, and it's become super popular. And they made 2 films, and kind of what I thought was interesting was they were both made for under $500. Pretty much the budget was, Patrick Brice pretty much said that it was like nothing to cost, and that's pretty remarkable considering the publicity, the accolades that it has. So that's pretty incredible for a little indie film. You could say that pretty much cost nothing to make, with a cast of like a couple people. So kind of a little bit about the Creep Tapes. So they're only going to be doing 2 episodes, I believe, every Friday. So we got 2 episodes already. We got, first one's called Mike and the second one's called Elliot, and they each run about 20 minutes. So that's kind of my first, I don't want to start off with a complaint, but my first complaint is I think it's way too short right off the bat. And I know they can't really do like hour long episodes for a found footage series. And I think this is something new, because I can't really think of any other like found footage movies that went into a series. And I thought this was a good like key concept. So pretty much, those that don't know the Creep series, it's pretty much he's like a bunch of tapes of like a bunch of different kills, and he kind of plays with his like victims that, oh, I want you to film me for the day, but I'm kind of this like wild, erratic guy. And he has like a bunch of tapes, so I assumed what they were going to do was have it in between like Creep 1 and 2, or just like even before, just kind of all those like serial killer like tapes. I thought they were going to play like those. But no, they took it, and I could tell because they mentioned Venmo, so I was like, oh, this has to take place after Creep 2. So that's my quick interpretation of the Creep Tapes. Not really looking too much into it, just kind of my initial thoughts. And so right off the bat, I guess we'll get started with episode 1, which is called Mike. So in this episode, Mark Duplass, I don't know if they still call him Yosef or not, that's what he goes by in the originals. He invites this guy to film him for $1,000, whose name is Mike, his like acting reel. And this guy Mike clearly just wants to go there just for the money. Does not really care about the tape. He thinks he's very amateur, not very good, but he still rolls along with it. And then all of a sudden, after he films it, starts to get really weird. He kind of wants out, but he goes outside, and there's a huge snowstorm. So Yosef is pretty much like, oh, you gotta stay, you can't really go, looks like you're stuck here with me. And Mike is like not into it. He's like, no, I want out, like now. I don't care if it's like a snowstorm, I'll still get out of here. And Yosef right away, $2,000 now to stay. And Mike's, you could tell, I guess, I mean, there's only 20 minutes, but I guess they kind of made him greedy for money. So he goes like, all right, I'll film it for $2,000. And so the episode rolls and rolls, not really much happening. And that's another complaint which I'll get into after I talk about this episode. So we get to the end of the episode, and Mike is filming Yosef with an axe, and this line's really good, this whole scene. pretty much is playing like, oh, am I gonna kill you with the axe? Are you catching on to I'm like a serial killer yet? And then he chases Mike with the axe and axes him. That's how it ends. So what I thought, it didn't really seem like it had a point. You really could have just like cut everything in this whole tape and just played like the last like 5 minutes and just called it like a short film. But they went on to this. That's what I mean. Like, this is like a good idea, but I don't think it's executed really well. And the problem is, like, you need longer than like 20-minute episodes if you're gonna do a found footage horror thriller type of series. And yeah, 20 minutes is not long enough, I think, and there's really just no point of watching the first like half of this tape because nothing really happens. Just the typical like creep system that, oh, I'm creepy, I want you to film me, I'm gonna be doing all these wild things, or you can catch on to my serial killer yet. And yeah, that's pretty much like the whole concept, which I hope they don't do every single episode, but we'll see. So yeah, I would give episode 1 5.5 out of 10. It's not very memorable. It's not like, oh, I want to watch the next episode. It's more like, okay, well, this would be a cool like YouTube short film. And don't get me wrong, these are Patrick Brice, Mark Duplass, incredibly talented actor and director combo. I think the movies are excellent, very underrated found footage movies, and I think it's just incredible what they did with no budget. It just shows how good of an actor Mark Duplass is, and he's so good in this last scene, which is why I want to give it like a 5.5 out of 10 because it's phenomenal. Just the dialogue, the screenplay is really good in this. So then we skip to episode 2, which is called Elliot. Now Elliot is the second one. It's another 20. I think it runs like 25 minutes or so. And this one is Elliot's bird watching, and I'll just cut right to the chase because it's another like the first 15 minutes or so just like drag, and it's really just like the last 5 minutes. Yeah, Elliot's bird watching for this bird he wants to go find. Mark Duplass's character comes there and he's like, oh, I see the bird, there it is. And I should have put a spoiler warning on this, which I'll put it in the title. But he's like, yeah, there's the bird right over there. And Elliot looks there, and he then ends up strangling him with the bag. This one I just had no interest in. I thought it was not very good. I thought Mike was much better, much executed well with the creep kind of system. But yeah, there's not really much I have to really say about episode 2 besides I just thought it was just very bland. Not as original as the other creep. I guess this is like the 4th creep installment technically, but the other 3 creep installments, it just felt very bland compared to them. And I know it's like a series, so you're gonna have episodes that are up and down. I think they should have kind of just released the whole season in just one. I hope they're doing more than one season. I don't know if this is just like a series because I don't even know if it's technically considered season 1. I just know it's the creep tapes and they're just releasing episodes, but we'll see. Because if you do, I'm assuming it's probably gonna be like an 8 to 10 episode season, so we'll see how many seasons we get, or if it's just like one. We'll see. But I think the show has a lot of potential. I just think some of the key factors to keep in mind is I know that it's like the whole concept, like each tape is going to be different. So there's not really going to be a storyline to follow. It's more going to be like individual episodes, kind of like, I don't want to say the X-Files, because the X-Files technically has like a story to it, but it's more like American Horror Story. More American Horror Stories, where it's kind of like different stories each episode, which I thought was cool. But yet again, like even that show, they make it longer. It's like 45 minutes to like an hour. if each of these were like 45 minutes, I think that would be perfect. Because you want to watch more. You don't want to just watch like. That's where it felt like the end of Mike. I was like, oh, this would be really cool, but I just know it's only going to be like 20 minutes long. Same thing with Elliot, but Elliot was just. I just got bored of it. It just wasn't. Because you know how it ends. And that's the thing with. I hope these tapes have like a different ending as they go along, because you're going to watch it and you can be like, okay, I know how each one of these ends. So yeah, I'm just curious to see how they execute further episodes and kind of where the direction is of the show. I think it has a lot of potential. I might sound like a hater based off this video, but I'm huge fan of their work of the two movies. I just thought the first two episodes were a little disappointing, and yeah, I just want to see. I think they have a lot of potential, and I'm kind of excited to see what they do from here. So yeah, I'm gonna give overall episode 2 like 3 out of 10. So overall, I would say between the two, I don't have a calculator. I know it's simple math, but we'll give it 5 skulls out of 10. We'll go 50. So yeah, this is episode I think 4 or 5 of quick reviews. I'm not sure, but this is our first TV series that we've done, Shudder original series. If you have Shudder, I recommend you checking it out. See what you think. These are just my thoughts, my quick opinion. Everyone's, if you like it, I hope you do. The first two just weren't for me. We'll see going forward. So if you like more, we're gonna have a bunch of new videos coming out. So stay tuned and subscribe to Spillage Studios. See you guys next time.